Hello, folks. It's been a while. I decided to do another one now. So I wanted to do a video. I don't really have a lot to say in this one, but it's basically about following your dreams, following your passions. This one's not going to be the same crap it usually is. There'll be some positives in here. Anyway, um, so I was watching this guy who seems like a total douchebag. Some kid. He's kind of a good-looking kid. I shouldn't even say that. He's such a dick. Talking about he's very proud of himself. He got some pharmacy degree, I guess. He got a doctorate, so he had to work hard. He got a doctorate. Now he's very satisfied with himself, making 6 figures a year. And I think to start, I'll say, if you think you're hot shit because you make a lot of money, I mean, in this world you are, and certainly ladies think you're hot shit if you make a lot of money, but I'd like to think that you're not half as cool as you think you are. Most of you people, there's a real dismissive attitude by people who make money of people who don't make a lot of money. The reality is that most high-paying jobs are not really honorable work. Just because you're making a ton of money or a lot of money doesn't mean that you're in any way a better person than somebody who isn't making a lot of money. It just means you're more willing to, it might mean you're willing to work hard, which I guess you deserve some credit for, but you don't deserve a lot of credit for working hard for things that don't benefit humanity. You're just a selfish prick, basically, So, for example, if you're like a chemical engineer with an oil company or something, you're probably making pretty good money, but you're a fucking dick. You hear me? You are a fucking dick. You don't even fucking care what your work means. All you know is you're getting your cash. If you work for, I could go on. There's a lot of companies where your work, you might be making 6 figures. You work for some kind of corporation that doesn't really give any major benefits to the world. You might think that your corporation's giving benefits to the world, but most of the time your corporation is looking to bilk people out of as much money as possible while providing the least amount of services possible. Or you're mining tons of the Earth's resources in an unsustainable way, or you're destroying the habitat, natural habitat, you know, or you're just making rich people who are already assholes a lot richer and even more assholey than they were before. Most of the jobs that pay really well, or you're a corporate lawyer who's preventing people from suing corporations for defects in their product, or for you're or trying to help corporations not have to pay taxes, or if you're an accountant, or having to help corporations skirt the law so that they can do what they do without being subject to the consequences that they should be held to. Most people making a bunch of money are true douchebags who don't care about the effects that their actions really have on the world. They might pretend to. They might pay lip service, and then they might give to charity. They're like, oh, this is where they feel like they get their get out of jail free card. Okay, I give tons of money to charity, so it doesn't matter what I do because I absolve myself. I gave millions to charity. You gave nothing to charity. That's what they would say. But the reality of the matter is these people don't undo the garbage that they do by doing their regular work. They create the garbage, and then they're basically alleviating some percentage of the garbage that they're creating with the way they do business. And maybe they do it for their own. To some extent, they probably even subconsciously do it to kind of soothe their own soul, because they probably deep down realize that they're just pieces of shit, mostly acting in self-interest. But I think I'm pretty sure most of them really believe that they're like better people. That if you make a ton of money and then give a bunch to charity, that's a better thing for the world than working some low-paying but well-meaning job. But I'm here to tell you it's not. You rich douchebags think you're big shit, but I'll tell you right now, I think very low of all of you fucking dirty sons of bitches. But you're on top. You get all the attention, you get all the resources, you get all the, you know, you get to have a family, your kids are well taken care of, they get the best education, you know. It's a shame, you know. It's the real lack of justice in the universe that allows you to hold these positions of superiority in your minds, and you look down on those of us who work in the gutters, you know. I won't say on the literal gutters. Some people actually do work in the literal gutters, but you know, you look down on those of us who are just trying to eke out an honest living, and you abuse us and you treat us like shit. You work us as hard as you possibly can for as little money as possible, and then you know you give us attitude when you come into, you know, when you come in to shop. You know, it's not enough that we're reduced to this shit, but you've got to fucking, a lot of you have to really just kind of, you know, needle us about it too. Oh yeah, you know, you're not as good. Look at you, you piece of shit. Take care. That's what a lot of them say. Take care, as if we need help taking care of ourselves. So they say take care. Like, oh yeah, I know. I don't know. It's. Don't say take care, people. Don't say, you know. Don't say have a good day. You know. Say something nice. Don't say take care. It's a lame thing to say. You know, be respectful, for crying out loud. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about your accomplishments. Don't talk about your kids all loud so everyone can hear. Don't talk about who you know is making six figures or, you know, $1 million a year. I hear all this chatter that people try to act like they're so modest. Some people are just braggarts. Fucking think they're hot shit. I fucking hate these people. Anyway. So yeah, I'm pissed about it, obviously. You know. Sucks that that these fucks have to think like they're you know, that they're superior people. That's one of the hardest things, living in a world where these assholes who are fucking not doing anything for humanity get to walk around parading around thinking, oh yeah, I'm the shit, you know. These people deserve their comeuppance. Hopefully it comes someday. The problem is if they get their comeuppance, we all go down with the same ship, you know. Things go down and it'll go down for everyone. That's the real injustice of it all. You know, unless there's an afterlife, these fucks will never see they'll never get their special treatment. You know, they should get their special fucking, they should get their ass specially kicked by the Almighty. Anyway, most of them probably don't believe in God because they might pretend to, or maybe they just think God loves them and wants only them to do well and that they're blessed and everyone else is just a chump. I don't know, whatever it is. Pretty sickening, but I guess what I want to say. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, there's this kid. After I went on my period of rage there, there's this kid who thinks he's hot shit, you know, and he made a video, says, you know, college degrees to avoid, and you know, college degrees that are the most valuable. Which are ones to avoid? You know, anything that isn't immediately applicable to the business world. You know, things that might be respectable things to study might give you great insight, but you're not going to get a job easily. You know, he's not lying. Practically, yes. You don't want to get these jobs if you're talking purely from a practical perspective. And then he goes on to list the stuff that everybody wants: economics, business, computer science, chemistry, you know, all the stuff that people pay you for. He says you go down these paths, you know, you can make your dreams come true. As if there's this assumption that everyone's dream is to be an engineer, everyone's dream is to be a businessman, everyone's dream is to be, you know, it's not even so much an assumption that everyone's dream is to do these things. Really, the assumption is just, oh yeah, your dreams are to make a bunch of money, you know, have kids, a successful family, a big house, a nice car, you know. Your dreams, is the assumption is your dream is the stated dream of capitalism, you know, to be a winner in the game of capitalism. And there's that arrogance that comes from people who do well in the capitalist sector, who know how to figure out a way to make a bunch of money for themselves. They think they're hot shit. They think their shit doesn't stink. And their shit stinks the worst of all, let me tell you. Stinks to high hell. And I guess I just want to say this about it. You know, it's not like the guy's wrong. It's not like these assholes, these high achieving assholes are wrong. And they do work hard. I'm not going to take that away from them. You have to work your ass off to get a doctorate. You have to be driven. It's true. So, I wish they were driven in a more positive direction. And I guess that's my point is if you're going to chase your dream, I want to just as the point of what I'm saying. I still think that chasing your dream is worthwhile. They kept making the point. This guy kept making the point in the video. Oh, you can do your dream on the side, but you can focus on something more practical, and then you can just do your dream on the side, whatever, no big deal. But you will never achieve what people who focus singularly on their dream achieve by doing it on the side, unless you happen to be really lucky or really have great connections. I suppose if you had enough connections from an early age, you might be able to study two things, and just so happen that the less practical one works out because of your connections and your status in life, which is totally unfair, and why a lot of fucking children of millionaires end up getting to live out their dreams and most of the rest of us don't. The kids of millionaires have all the options and all the connections in the world and all the educational resources in the world, get their shit worked out. None of the pressures of having to worry about what they're going to have to do for a living or how they're going to support themselves. They got an easy path to stardom if they want it. If they don't decide to just follow in their father's footsteps or their parents' footsteps and be the same capitalist douchebags. But if you're not somebody of means, if you're not somebody with connections, if you're not somebody who is lucky enough to be given the red carpet treatment from an early age, I say, do you want to follow your dreams? Well, I'll say this about following your dreams. For one, if you have a dream, make sure it's achievable. Like, I started playing music at age 21. It was just never going to happen at age 21. My family didn't have connections. I wasn't a very social person. I wasn't really a person who could network particularly well. I assumed I would have talent just because I loved music, but talent for playing, coming up with ideas. Do you have original ideas as a musician? That's what'll get you. That being able to have a good singer, being able to bring the people together to pull off your musical ideas, or if you have the talent yourself to sing well enough. All I'm saying is take a serious look at your dream and say, do I have the resources to make this happen? Because when I started on my path, reality of the matter was there was very little chance that I would have the resources to make it happen. I didn't know how good of a singer I was, but I hadn't been singing most of my life, so chances that I'd be a great singer, not great, and I was not. Turned out I don't really have great singing talent. I'm middling at best. So I didn't really take that into account when I started down this path. I think I thought didn't matter, that I wouldn't have to be the singer. But every time you take away something that could get you there, you have to start questioning the dream more. It's easy when you're young to assume, oh, everything's just going to come together, that the stars will align and somehow it'll all work out. Maybe it will for some people if they happen to be in the right place at the right time. Some people are just in the right place at the right time. But you can't bet on that, You can't count on it. It's destiny is, I don't know, unless you think you're, everyone probably when they're young thinks that they're somehow God's special story, that things are going to work out. But it's easy to believe that when you're young, and a lot of people probably went into, their formative years believing that was going to be the case and ended up disappointed like I was. So really analyze your chances of making the dream happen. And that doesn't just go for music. Look at your art. Is your art unique? Can you imagine your art appearing in the world's great museums? Do you have backers? Do you have connections? Are you able to create a buzz for yourself? Um, One of the other things the guy said in that video was, oh well, you can be a more successful artist if you understand business, because you can promote your product better. Well, is that really what we need in the world? Fucking artists that are better at promoting themselves than the actual art that they make? No, it is not what we need. To give an example, I mean, I'm glad Taylor Swift is encouraging her fans to vote, but Taylor Swift is much better at promoting her brand than she is at making music. She's great at being a businesswoman. She's fantastic as a businesswoman. There's no question about it. She knows how to, and as a PR woman, she couldn't be better. She really knows how to sell an image. But as a musician, she's got a lot of people fooled. She is no great musician. I can tell you that. A lot of people fall for the glitz and glamour of what she does, and the stories and the heartbreak and all that kind of thing, the relatable stories, but it doesn't make her a good musician. She's not a good musician. She is as mediocre as they come. Maybe she's got a talent for writing pop songs, I guess you could say, but it's nothing that pushes forward the art of music. It's nothing that reaches for, something that kind of, it doesn't reach for something that strengthens the human spirit. It doesn't reach for something that what's that word? It's life affirming. That's how I feel about it anyway. I'm sure these young girls would disagree with me, so they are entitled to their opinion, I suppose. But if you ask me, of course, what do I know, right? I didn't write anything, but I feel like even though I didn't write anything, I feel like I know enough about music to know, what music is meaningful and what isn't. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with that too. Anyway, the point, I'm getting on a tangent here. You know, I guess what I want to say about it is also this, to follow your dream, I think is still, even though it may be impractical, even though it's dangerous, even though you can end up the way I've ended up, bitter, angry, waiting for death. I'm waiting for death now. My dream is done. There's no way my dream's happening anymore. I could reach for a pale imitation, or not even an imitation, really, a pale echo of what my dream once was. But it doesn't motivate me, And I've already tried so hard and gotten so very, not so. I've gotten so little out of how much effort I've put into it that it doesn't feel like I'll ever get even halfway to where I would want to get to go. You know. So it doesn't feel like there's any point in me trying anymore. I'm really struggling to figure out what new dream I can come up with that's going to motivate me, because there's not much out there that gets me going anymore. I'm just not enthusiastic about anything anymore. Maybe comedy, stand-up comedy would probably be the best thing, but that's the thing. Comedy is the only thing that gets me moving anymore. It's the only part of my day that I enjoy, when people are joking around, when I'm joking around, when I get a laugh from somebody. But being a stand-up is a whole other deal. But anyway, so yeah, what I did want to say is that it's very honorable to follow your dream, and if you make it, just know that you are. If you follow your dream and you give it all you got and you pull it off, that is a much bigger accomplishment. Pulling off your dream is a much bigger accomplishment than just being like, I'm gonna be a big business tycoon, and I'm gonna just follow. All the people that do well, making six figures or whatever, that aren't entertainers. The people that took the standard path. Let me become an engineer. Let me become a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, not to say that I'm not trying to say that becoming a doctor or a lawyer isn't a worthy accomplishment that you shouldn't be recognized for. Or that getting a doctorate in anything, or earning a bunch of money isn't an accomplishment at all. But it's a path of least resistance, you know. I mean, the resistance is that you have to work your ass off to do it, but there's a set channel there for getting there, you know. It's capitalism approved pathway to success, you know. You're okay, you know. We give you our grant. You can join the ranks of the elite because, you know, you followed our prescribed plan. You know, we made sure we put in a lot of things in place to make sure that when you came out on the other side of the elite that you would be in lockstep with our beliefs. You know, there's no way that you would ever threaten our power. You are now part of the system. You will reinforce the system. You know, you are an example of our version of success. You know, that's what capitalism wants. You know, so it does require a lot of work, but it's kind of lame. You know, just walking down the pre-approved pathways to success is, in its way, it's lame. You know, it's boring. It's uninspiring. It's ignorant of the larger realities in some ways. I'm not trying to say being a doctor is ignorant. I think there are some professions where I respect it a little more. You know, family doctor, the jobs that don't pay quite as well. You know, even an engineer. You know, I think engineers do good work. I'm not trying to say that they do bad work, but it's just not. You know, you're not a rabble rouser. You're not a revolutionary. You know, you're not a pioneer. You're not a game changer. You're not a paradigm shifter. You're just sort of like, yes, sir, I will do as I say, sir. I will walk the line that you have put before me. But if you can pull off you know, you can be an artist, get paid for it, you know. I mean, there's still a place for it in capitalism. They make a space for those people that are successful, but it's not what they really want, you know. Especially if you're an artist that cares more about musical inspiration than do about building a brand as an artist. You know, just being another businessman, except what you're selling is yourself and your image and your music. You know, I'm talking about if you make it and what you care about is furthering, you know, strengthening the human spirit. You know, strengthening our connection to, you know, the universe. You know, if you care about, you know, creating something in this world that it's never seen before, you know, if you care about creating the closest thing that comes to magic in life as we know it, you know, in one of the arts or something like that, you know, even the arts have been corrupted of late. You know, there was a time when the arts weren't as corrupted. I feel like, you know, the iron grip of capitalism has sort of wormed its way into even the arts now, and it's very hard to find things that are truly inspired in any of the arts at this point. But if you did manage to gain success, you know, with a message that runs counter to, you know, the dominant paradigm, that runs counter to, you know, Western imperialism, then, you know, you have achieved such a great thing, you know, such an incredible thing, and you deserve to be recognized and lauded for it. You deserve to, you know, go down in history as a legend, you know, and that's something that will never be the case with the people who follow the prescribed path. So I'm going to say that just as a counter to that guy on the internet that says, oh yeah, you know, you got to get these degrees and life is all about making a lot of money and having a lot of things and, you know, having a strong family and blah 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 blah. You know, no, you know, if you can follow your dream is impractical, but you make it happen despite all the odds. You know, then I salute you. But I'm going to say this about it, and because I say that, you know, I want you to know it's not going to be easy. Like I say, there's lots. They put up roadblocks everywhere you look. You know, they do not want you to be successful in a way that makes people question what we do. You know, question the modern reality, question the belief systems that are constantly propagandized, you know, down our throat. You know, they don't want anything that messes with the programming. So, It's when you decide to follow your passion that isn't one of the standard passions of the world, you are fighting an uphill battle of monumental proportions. And I want you to realize that, if you're gonna take that on, if you are gonna follow your passion, if you're gonna follow your dream, be prepared to fight like crazy for it, number one. But number two, be realistic about whether or not you can achieve it. Start young. If you don't start young, if you haven't realized what you want young, the chances are very slim you're going to be able to beat the odds. You have to start young. If you're young and listening to this, especially under the age of 15, ideally maybe under the age of 17, if you really, get going now, and you want to do art, leave nothing to chance. Bust your ass. Start figuring out what you need to do now to avoid having to do the prescribed shit. Um, if you don't have a head start, then chances are not good you'll make it to the finish line. So if you want to follow your dream, really look at your situation. Can you do it? Will you make it? Don't assume that everything will work out for you. Don't assume the stars will align. Don't assume that you have some untapped inner talent that you're sure will come out as soon as you start applying yourself. No, everything is a slog, and especially when you're going against the grain of what's prescribed, that is the biggest slog of all. You will be faced with constant challenges, and you just have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing yourself. And if, that was one of the reasons why I never had a chance, I can't push myself on that level. I will never be that guy. I will never be that guy that can revel in the challenge. If you can revel in the challenge, if you have that in you, go for it. If you feel like nothing can stop you, you have to be sure that nothing can stop you. Don't think that the world's gonna, that the universe is going to, another point for me is, I used to think the universe owed me something because I struggled so much. And so I thought the universe owes me this. It'll bring it to me, It'll make everything right that it made wrong, I thought that the universe was going to make up for the disappointment of how it treated me in the early years, my school years. I thought the universe was going to give me a chance to have the last laugh in the end, And the universe won't do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. Don't wait around for it to happen. You got to make it happen. So if you're following your passion, always rely on yourself. Don't expect anything to happen for you automatically. You have to, like they say, opportunity only knocks once. So you have to be prepared when it does. You have to be you have to have everything you need if that opportunity should come along. You have to be prepared. That you have to, be. You must be sure that you're in a position where you can take advantage of the opportunity. As if you're not, you won't get another chance. So yeah, follow your passion. Please do it. I want you to follow your passion. I want you to believe in what you're doing. I want you to go against the grain. As long as your passion is not, the standard douchebaggery of capitalism. This is what I'm talking about when I say this. If your passion is something other than, just make a bunch of money, fuck the consequences. You should be doing your passion not for the money, not for the fame, not for anything other than your love of the thing that you're doing. If you're going to follow your passion, make sure you love it deeply, as deeply as it's possible to love something. And make sure you're willing to commit your entire life to it. This is not something you do on the side. This is everything. If you don't feel that way about what the passion that you want to live out, then don't bother. Quit. Quit now. I'm telling you. They say never quit. Take a serious look at yourself and say, do you love this on a level that you're willing to give everything for it? If not, give it up. I'm not trying to say take the practical path necessarily. You can just do what I do and fuck around and try to do the minimum and just fucking live out your years, trying to not make life into a nightmare, making it just good enough that there's some moments of mild joy here and there. gets hard, let me tell you. You get to be in your 40s and you wonder, why am I even, what's the point? I really wonder why bother anymore. But, this is the threat. If you do follow your passion, this is where you're going to end up. You're going to end up wondering, why am I even here? You're going to end up wondering, what's the point of me being even alive anymore? It feels pointless. There's nothing I'm looking forward to. There's no goal that it's worthwhile for me to achieve in my 40s or 50s or 60s. I don't care. Nothing is going to get me excited about life at this point. But if you're young enough to make it happen and you love it that much, yes, follow your passion, but just be prepared for an uphill battle. And make sure you keep always looking at yourself along the guidepost to say, am I there? Am I on my way? Am I almost there? Or is this just I never should have started in the first place. I wanted to be a drummer when I was a kid. If my father had gotten me a drum kit, I would have had a lot better chance of becoming a successful musician. But he didn't get me one. And it's my own fault for not pushing for another one. I loved music, but I didn't understand, the importance of, being proactive and being disciplined. I don't know if I ever would have made it. I'm pretty lazy. I don't know if I'm lazy because the way I was treated. I think part of it, I don't know if that's what prevents me from. I'm just naturally lazy. It could just be a genetic thing. Maybe genetically my family line is not a bunch of go-getters. I don't know. It's probably a little bit of both. I'm sure part of the reason why I'm lazy is genetics, and part of the reason is because I took so much shit in school. But, regardless of that, if you feel like you can make it, then give it all you got. But otherwise, doing things on the side and having a practical career, if you're not ready to follow your dream, that's your only choice. You either create a practical career for yourself, or you do what I do, and you slog through life, and it's difficult. I personally would like to see you make it if it means you're going to really bring people up a level. If it means you're going to show people that there's more to life than just consumerism and shallow thinking and short-term thinking, and lack of concern, lack of empathy, lack of understanding. If you're just going to promote ignorance, if you're just going to promote self-centeredness, well, I don't want you to succeed in anything you do, really. But if you really truly want to change the world for the better, if you have a passion that you think can help you do that, make sure you start young. Check yourself along the way. Make sure you're getting there. You should be able to tell. Things will feel like it's building. I never had a feeling like things were building continuously. I always felt like people I was around were never very committed. They had their foot halfway out the door. I never found myself in an environment where I felt like things were moving. Make sure you're in an environment where things are moving forward all the time, where you just feel like, it's meant to be. If you get there, follow your passion, make me proud. I'll be extremely impressed. If you don't, you got a tough life ahead of you, and you can make it less tough by being practical. But I'm sorry that your dream couldn't be a reality. Just like I'm sorry mine couldn't be either.